Hey guys, so just trying to get settled in here. This is my second day here at the RV park, and just trying to get situated, see what's what, see how things work and whatnot with the new fifth wheel. But one thing I've been wanting to do is put more of a kind of permanent sewer drainage system in. So typically, you just have your sewer drain hose that you connect up to the RV and into the sewer inlet for the city or the park or wherever you're at, So this kind of just takes out one step, and it's permanently attached to the RV at one time and has a little enclosure. And yeah, so then you just you take it out of its enclosure and stick it in the drain, and you're good to go. So yeah, minor details, one less step, but it will just make things a little bit easier. I thought it was a cool idea, so I wanted to give it a shot. So I got it here, and I am at the RV park, so I'm not sure what tools I'll need quite yet. I don't have anything with me. So I'm hoping it's kind of some basic stuff. If there's some small things, there is a Lowe's nearby if I need to pick up anything small. But yeah, let's walk through the process, get it installed, try to get it mounted, and we'll see how that goes. And of course, I got my little helper here, Aurora. She's always ready to help. So yeah, let's open this up, see what's inside, and we'll go from there. Okay, what we got inside here? Boxes within boxes. Got another box. I don't know what this is. Probably some parts and pieces. Empty box. Alright. Must just be used for padding. Nothing needed there. Let's see if this is an actual useful item. Nope. More boxes and boxes. So here's the underbelly case. This is what's going to store the sewer hose. This must be the bracket that's going to get mounted underneath the trailer, I'm guessing. But yeah, let's take it open, or get it open, and see what all is going on here. This is yet another very well padded empty box. There's absolutely nothing in here. Yeah, kind of funny. All these boxes for padding, but I don't know why they put padding inside of an empty box, but oh well. Let's keep moving on. So here's the box now that it's open, or the storage container, I should say. So it's got a little cover on the front. So this is where it's got a lockable key, it looks like, as well. Hopefully there's a key inside. Let's see what we got here. Yep, there's some keys. Let's get this out. It's taped in there. There's definitely some parts and pieces, nuts and bolts maybe in there. Okay, so here's the hose. This is going to be the part of the permanent hose solution here. Got a bracket, vent maybe. Yep. Okay. There's I don't know what this is. Some type of tube. We'll see what that's for. And that looks like it. Okay. And here's the hose. So this is the end that's going to be, I believe this gets permanently attached to the trailer, and it will stick out the side of the this box here, I believe. So yeah, let's keep moving forward. nuts and bolts, instructions. Let's just take a quick peek. Blah blah blah. Okay, so here we have all of the hardware components of the kit. So we got some bolts, which I believe are to adjust the height of everything, and I'll show you that in a sec. We got some self-tapping screws. This will mount the mounting plate to the I-beam. Some top cap nuts, which I believe go on the top of these. Some tooth washers and some flat washers, and not sure what this is for quite yet, but yeah, so here's the mounting plate. So you'll see there's 6 holes on this little flat section here. This is where the self-tapping screws will go through, up through here, and mount to the I-beam directly. So these 4 existing screws, they're just for, I think, for shipping. I don't think we use these at all. So I'll remove these, and this is actually where the bolts, I believe 3/8, will come up through here, mount to something, or maybe it's to gap. Oh, I think this is to gap. So this will, okay, so this comes up through the storage compartment and mounts to the top of the mounting bracket. But these don't need to be, so right now they're just directly touching, but there can be a gap between these, which is why we have the bolts here. So that's how you change the height of the storage container. I don't know if that makes sense, but I can try to put something together here in a sec so I can show you how that would basically space these out, and that's what all the bolts are for here. Okay, so here's about where we're going to install it. So here's the old, or the original black tank exit. Here's my I-beam. I'm just going to take this bracket off so I can get some clearance and just do some test fitting with that mounting bracket that came with the storage case. And then, I mean, we're going to have to cut this pipe somewhere, probably along this straight section here. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, right now I'm just going to take some measurements, you know, measure twice, cut once, right? So let's get this out of the way. I'm just going to kind of hold up the mounting bracket in place and see what makes sense for the best place to put it. All right, making a little progress here. So I've got 2 pilot holes in so far. Let's see if I can show you here. So I got 1 pilot hole right here and a second pilot hole right here. So that's where I kind of threw this bracket up there, and just got 2 kind of starting points, so 1 here and 1 here, and now I'm just kind of measuring what I need to make sure that I have enough clearance for the box, and kind of what height the box needs to be at in order to, because I'm gonna have to cut the pipe somewhere around here, so it's gonna come into the side of the box here. So I'll have to cut a 4-inch hole in the side of the box, and yeah, that's where I'm at so far. I'll show you what I did in a second to start my pilot holes for the mounting bracket. All right, so I got this lined up. So here's where I'm gonna drill my 4 holes. So 1 here, 1 here. It's the larger ones, not these ones. These smaller ones are the 6 that go into the I-beam. So 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And this is just plastic, so it should be pretty easy to drill through. And I got a 3/8 here, so we'll start with that and see how that goes. Okay, that was not too bad. Do a quick test. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3 done, and I just put the bolts in just to make sure, you know, nothing moves around or anything. And let's get the last one on here. kick. There we go. Okay, so these are actually, I just put these in for example. But bolts actually are going to come up from the bottom this way, and they'll be kind of that top cap nut, if you remember from earlier, that's going to go on here with a washer. And then so you can see that, you know, I can thread this in quite a bit, and then I can add some separation in the mounting bracket and the storage box, and that's what gives you the drop for, you know, making sure it's aligned properly for where the sewer hose is going to tie in to the side. Yeah, so that's how that works. Let's keep moving forward. By the way, guys, if you guys are doing this yourself also at home or anything like that, make sure you drill these pilot holes into the storage box before you mount this. I mean, you can still do it, but it's a lot easier this way because you can get everything aligned how you want to. You don't have to worry about clearance or anything like that. Plus, if you're, you know, here you can align your holes from the top, and if you're coming from the bottom, then you're just kind of guessing like where that point is, so it just makes it a lot easier. Plus, you know, you're gonna have like limited clearance, 'cause this is gonna be the top of the trailer, so trying to get a bolt in up there is gonna be difficult. So yeah, just a little quick tip there. All right, guys, so right now I'm underneath, so there's this bracket here, and this is just kind of goes along the length of the RV and holds this barrier up. So I definitely want to keep that in place. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the bracket in between this piece of metal here, this metal brace, and the barrier. So I'm not going directly against the I-beam. On this side, I'm going in between here. So like this is where the bracket will go. Okay, let me show you. All right, I hope you guys can see this. So you go in between the barrier and the metal brace. It also helps hold it up too, which is nice. And I have a couple pilot holes already, 2 of them that I mentioned earlier. So that helps kind of hold it in place as you know, get things situated here. Okay, so that's basically how it's gonna go, guys. So I got the 2 drilled out so far. Drilling through this I-beam freaking sucks, by the way. So now I got 4 more holes to drill. And these are self-tapping screws too. So yeah, I got these four holes to drill, and then I'll get these last 6 bolts in, or last 4 bolts in, and then we can mount our box, mount the storage box to the bracket. So yeah, let's do that now. Alright, 3 more to go. Okay, so I got 2 more. 4 unfortunately, the last two bolts, so here and one that's kind of hidden right here, the black pipe is in the way. So now I gotta cut it. I was hoping I can get the box mounted first, but obviously this is well on the way here. So yeah, now I gotta cut the pipe. I mean, here's the end of the bracket here, the side of the bracket, I mean. And so somewhere around here is where the pipe's gonna need to get cut, so it can go on the side of the storage container. So now I gotta figure out what measurements I need to take to do that, make sure I get the right height, and yeah, so let me take some measurements and figure that out. I'll get back to you. All right, so I'm taking some measurements to figure out where I want to cut the existing black pipe at on the RV. So trust the instructions, sometimes come in handy. Kind of a lot of stuff going on in here, a lot of arrows and references and whatnot, but there's a couple key points here. So so here, this is a top-down view. So this is looking as if you were looking from the top down at the storage. So here's my I-beam. This is where I put the bracket, and I'm putting the 6 holes, you know, along the I-beam, like I just showed you guys. And here is the edge of where the enclosure is going to be, right? So what this is telling me is this Y measurement says allow 3 inches plus or minus 1/4 inch. So this is saying I need to measure out 3 inches from the side of my mounting bracket. So 3 inches out in that space, this is where I can cut the existing pipe. So I'll just have to look at 3 inches outside of that, cut the existing black pipe, and then that should be sufficient for what I need. There's another note here too. It says allow 2.5 inches minimum plumbing extension for female cam lock installed. So all that's saying is just make sure that you have an extra 2.5 inches on the existing pipe, because you're going to slide a cam lock onto the existing pipe. So just to make sure, it just wants you to make sure there's no elbows or bends, but you just have an extra 2.5 inches of straight pipe, because that's where you're going to put the fitting onto. So that's what that measurement refers to. But for cutting purposes, then I want this 3 inches plus or minus 1/4 inch. So I'm going to try to measure out 3 inches from the side of the mounting bracket, because the mounting bracket is flush with the storage compartment. So 3 inches outside of that, that's where I'm going to cut, and then that should be sufficient for what I need to do. So let's check that out. Measure 3 inches and cut away. So here's the edge of my mounting bracket, and this is where I want to measure the 3 inches from. So so mounting bracket, you know, comes in line right here to my existing black pipe, and I want to measure 3 inches out from that to the side of that, and that's where I'm gonna cut. Okay, just got that cut off. Hopefully that's 3 inches. Let's do a quick measure. Yeah, I'd say that's 3 inches. Looks good. Sweet. By the way, guys, you're supposed to use red Loctite as well on the bolts that go up through the frame into the mounting plate. So don't forget your red Loctite. Okay. All 6 bolts are in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The pipe is cut. I got some sandpaper. I'm gonna sand off the edges, make that a little smoother, and yeah, now I'm ready to actually mount the storage case, so that's sweet. So let me sound this up and get this mounted. Okay, so I got my hole cut. So per the instructions, if you measure 2 3/4 inches down from the top of the storage container, so 2 3/4 inches down is the center of kind of where you want to start your drill point. So I had a 4-inch hole cutter bit, so just measured 2 3/4 down. Then I had to measure how far back my the existing pipe was from. I measured from the mounting hole here, because there's a mounting hole on my mounting bracket as well, you know, that we drilled earlier. So I measured from here to the center point of the existing black drain pipe, sewer pipe, and it was about 11 1/4 or so was how far back it was from that point. So I had 11 1/4 inches back, 2 3/4 inches down, and that's where I drilled in at. I was kind of hoping I could get on this flat spot here, but I had to come back just a little bit onto this in order so it lines up okay. But now the real test is we'll get this mounted up on top of the mounting bracket, make sure our hoses line up with this hole hopefully, and then we should be getting pretty close. So let's go see how that lines up. Okay, so I figured out how all the nuts and bolts go. Kind of looks funky, but this is how it goes. So you have your main bolt here, then you thread a nut onto it first, then you have a washer, and then you put it up through the enclosure, and this is adjustable, you know, so you can change the height. Remember how I was telling you can drop the height from the mounting bracket, so this is how that's done. So then you put the bolt through the enclosure, then there's another washer, then another nut, and this is what secures the bolt onto the enclosure here. So these will get tightened down after you figure out your exact height. Then you have another nut and a washer, and this is gonna go, and this is adjustable again as well, and this is gonna go up against the bottom of the mounting bracket. So there'll be the mounting bracket that will slide on top of this, and then at the very top you have this the external tooth washer, and you want to make sure that the teeth are kind of angled downward so that it will grind down, and this will go on top of the mounting bracket. So you want the teeth to grind into the mounting bracket, so that'll go onto the mounting bracket on top there, and then this top cap nut will get screwed on to the top there. So then your your mounting bracket's going to be sitting in between here and get pressed between these two here. So I'll have to do this to all four, and then figure out the height that I want and adjust the height, and then we can get these all tightened up. Alright, so I got this thing mostly mounted. Kind of a pain in the butt, but nice that it's almost done. So I got these, these are pretty close together, but I got it dropped down just a little bit, and same with the rear. And I think I got my hole kind of lined up here, so you guys can see that. So I'm about to put on the attachment that will, the cam lock that will go onto the drain pipe, and then if you look through, so here's my enclosure, and so this side here is going to stick through the hole, and that'll go onto the cam lock. So got a few adjustments I'm about to make now, but at least the enclosure is mounted. That was kind of a pain, like I said, but that part's done. Okay, so I got my cam lock here. This is the cam lock fitting that's going to go onto the sewer, the existing sewer drain hose that we cut earlier. It's also got this hole cut out already. So what that's for is I have this. This is a vent. So this is supposed to go on top, and this is supposed to be mounted vertically. That's an important part for it to function properly. And this just vents air in and out. So as you're pulling the sewer hose, you know, pulling it out or contracting it, then you know it's going to create a suction inside the hose. So this vent allows that air to escape, so that when you're pulling the sewer hose out, it just makes it a little bit easier. Not required, but just a extra little feature. It came with the kit. So, but this has to be vertical. But I don't have enough clearance to install this directly on top of this because it's going to hit the top of the little protective barrier on the RV. It comes with this elbow kit, and this will just get screwed on, and then I've got some extension hose here that will go onto this. I'll cut this to length to get it mounted where I need to. Here's the other end, and then I can, you know, connect these and get this mounted vertically somewhere nearby. Should probably only need like maybe 10-12 inches or so of this pipe to get it to a good mounting spot. But I've got my Teflon tape as well for the threads to make sure it's a tight, good seal. And then one last thing too is they make the interior of this, so this is where it slides over the existing drain pipe that we cut. It's very, very, very tight. I got a test piece here of just some ABS pipe that I bought, and you know it's supposed to be a tight fit, you know, but it's so tight to the point like you can't even like do like a dry test fit or anything like that. So, but they do say in the instructions to actually sand this down to get a good fit. So I have some sandpaper. I'll sand this down just a little bit. Shouldn't take a lot, but just enough to where I can get a tight, dry fit. And then I have my ABS cement, which I'll use to secure it to the existing sewer drain hose pipe. So I'm gonna sand this down. I got my Teflon tape. I'll get this mounted up, and yeah, that should be kind of one of the last steps, and then we'll get to test everything out. So let's get going. Okay, so one thing else that I had to add is you can see I cut this little notch in the top of the pipe. So that's because where I have this, where this vent is coming, you see how it kind of sticks down a little bit? So that'll allow this to slide on, and or slide on further, basically, because that where that where that elbow comes in is gonna slide into that notch to allow it to come on a little bit further. So, so that's all that's for. Just a little bit extra security there. Got my ABS cement, so I'll put some on here on the outside, and then on the inside of my coupling here, and no going back from that. So here we go. All right, it's on. It's not going anywhere, so that's that. Here's my cam lock fitting. So this will go to the main sewer hose and latch in, and that will just stay latched. So now we do a test fit, make sure everything lines up okay. So let's do a test fit. Okay, so it's on, and looks like that went okay. It looks good. Everything is secure. Got my cam locks in place. There's my vent tube that's going to come out to the side and mount somewhere else. So you can see there's my tube, and it comes through. And I don't know if you can see that very well, but there we go. So the tube just comes through the hole that we cut, and it just stays permanently secured. This can turn on and off to close that. Clear visual tube, make sure your cleaning is clear. And that just stores like that. So last step is to just finish up the vent hose, so that vent tube. But what I'm going to do is just run that pipe, and run it right behind mount it somewhere around here on this hydraulic leg. That'll kind of stay out of the way. Should only need, I don't know, 12 inches or so of that tubing, but yeah, it went pretty well. Okay, so I kind of got my tube routed up behind the hydraulic leg with a lot of extra room right now, just so I can get everything situated and mounted. So basically what's going to happen is I got my so here's the complete, here's the valve. So this just gets threaded onto here. It's a kind of compression fitting for the tube. So the tube's gonna come through here and go into the female fitting here, and this threads on and compresses it for a tight seal. Okay, so and that's the final product. So that was the end that threaded on to the other side there. So now it's got a tight fit there. Now I just got to kind of readjust this. I'm going to mount it right behind this. I might do something a little more permanent later. I got a sticky backed zip tie holder here, and I'm just going to zip tie it to this for now. That just kind of helps stop some wiggling. It's mostly going to be supported by this stiff hose, so it's not going to be you know, falling down or anything just because this is a stiff hose. So I'm just got to kind of cut it to length, and then I'll do the same thing I did on this one, but on the top of the vent elbow there, and we'll be done. Okay, so I got my hose cut. I just used a sharp razor blade. Actually worked pretty easily. I mean, it's just kind of a softer plastic, you know, stiff, but a softer plastic. So I just cut through it in, I don't know, 5 seconds. I just kind of slowly kind of sawed it, you know, and pressed in, and it worked just fine. So here's my total length. And now I'm just gonna stick this end into the other, clamp it down, or screw it in to compress it down. And then I'll zip tie this to my mount that I showed you, and that should be it. All right, that's done. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do a more permanent solution, something a little bit better than the zip tie. That'll hold just for now, so I figure out a different mount for that. But you know, it's pointed up, and there's the tube going to my elbow in the clamp there and into the storage container. And that is it. Here's the sewer hose all hooked up, by the way. Kind of final products. Going to the drain. I just tested it as well. Everything worked perfectly. I already drained the good stuff, so you don't have to see that. There's some nice clear water. Just draining some fresh or gray water right now. But yeah, love it. It's nice to have that storage container too, and it will just pull right back up in there. It's always connected on the inlet side there. So yeah, fun install. I think it's worth it. I would do it again. I have another black tank in the rear. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but I might try to tie it in or do something similar out of Y. I don't know yet. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys have a second tank. Yeah, any thoughts? I'll think about it, but let me know. So that's it for now, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.